Hello everyone, Oren here from the 420 Sound. I'm right here at the work pod in Byron Bay. Today I'm gonna go with you through my creative process, and we're gonna share some production techniques and how to make a fat reggae beat. Alright, so what we're gonna do today, we're gonna make an instrumental track around the vocal that was recorded by my friend Tom Spiral in Scotland a few days ago. And we're gonna go through which instrument I use, what kind of production techniques I'm using to make the tune, a few tricks, a few tips to make you guys hopefully get inspired when you're working in the studio at home. So let's go through what I have in the studio at the moment. Today I have with me the Yamaha classic piano reface, a really nice piano sound and organ. We got the Korg Micro Korg, which is, in my opinion, one of the fattest bass synthesizers, really good full tone. And I got my electric guitar that I'm gonna use it just a little bit. I'm using my Focusrite Sapphire interface and mini keyboard, mini MIDI controller for Ableton, Akai MIDI Mix. Let's do it. So I'm working on 152 BPM. That's the tempo of the song. I'll just play you the vocal just to get the idea of what's happening.
Melodies for a better day, music for a better way.
Also the
to
man
put
called
a
Tom
big
Spiral.
smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place, yeah.
So what I usually do when I start to work around vocals is I usually set up a beat around it. Today I'm gonna start with some hi-hats. Just gonna pick up some hi-hats loops. I would look something around 76 BPM. Yes, yeah, 76 BPM. Let's have a listen to this. So this one, something like that. That will sound good enough. Make an audio track, put in the loop there, and
Melodies for a better day,
we already have something to work
for a
with.
better way to put a big smile stretching
Fine with the
across
hats.
your face. Better for the people, better time and place, yeah.
What a new technique that I started to work on, I put a drum rack on a MIDI channel, and I use Splice for most of my samples. It's a very easy interface to use, very easy application you can have on your laptop. So we start with the kick drum. A new technique I started to use is to use two different kick drums which have similar characteristics, and it's kind of when you use two different samples, it's kind of help you get rid of the robotic sound that you use if you use the same sound all the time.
Melodies for
So we're
a better
gonna go for a one drop kind of beat.
Melodies for a better day, music for a better way
Stretch up
to
the loop.
put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place, yeah. Melodies for a better way, music for a better day to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place, yeah.
So you got the kick and you got the hat. Gonna have the rim shot. Usually one drop beats have a rim shot following the kick. So I'm gonna go back to Splice, look for a nice rim shot sound. That's quite a solid one. Quite rim shot. I call this channel snares, because later I'm gonna show you I'm gonna add some more samples into it. So start with the rim shot. This one. Pick this one. Yeah.
Melodies for a better day, music for a better way to put a big smile.
Usually I just using the built-in effect on the new Ableton session. You get the reverb and delay on return channels number A and B.
Melodies for a better day, music Music for a better way to
So we get a nice one drop surrounding the vocals. Makes it a lot easier to start to work around it, give a bit of inspiration. So, right about now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add an offbeat skank into it, and I'm gonna use the Yamaha classic piano for it. It's funny, it has a really weird feature that actually the best sound of this keyboard is a secret sound, so you kind of need to go between the whirlitizer and the clav. You just put it halfway in between, you turn it off, you turn it on, and then you get a really nice grand piano sound, which in my opinion is the best sound of this keyboard, but it's secret. So anyway, cool. I'm trying to make a stereo channel for it. Usually when I track this instrument that goes stereo, it gives a much better sound. Nice and full. Coming nice, cool. So, let's give it a go.
For a better day. Music for a better way to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place.
It's something we need to fix every now and then. It's part of the process when you work in the studio. There's always glitches. Fixed. All right, so let's make it give it a name. Skank CP, and we're gonna track this one.
Melodies for a better day. Music for a better way to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place.
Yeah, it was a bit dodgy, but we're gonna pick the tight loop from it. Let's have a listen.
Melodies for a better day. Music for a better way to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place.
Quantize it, nice and tight.
Music for a better day.
So right now we got offbeat skank, a little bit of drums. Before I go forward, I like sometimes to give my vocals a bit like the most minimal treatment. So I just cut in the low frequencies and sending it to a bit of reverb, a bit of delay, and I put like a very basic compression on it, just to make it like sit in the mix and a bit nicer without putting too much load on the CPU. So it's gonna sound something like that.
Melodies for a better day. Music for a better way to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time out.
I'm already starting to nod my head with the beat, which is it's a great sign. Next step, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give gonna track a bit of guitar. My interface has it's a bit low on input, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna very carefully make space here for my guitar. Yeah. There we go, and we got some signal coming through. Very nice. Let's come up with a beat with a bass line, starting with the guitar.
Melodies for a better day. Music for a better way to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place. Yeah. Melodies for a better way. Music for a better day to put a big smile stretching across your face.
Get a better signal.
For the people, better.
I'm gonna track it. Everything is in a loop at the moment. So let's go.
Melodies for a better day. Music for a better way to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place. Yeah. Melodies for a better way. Music for a better day to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place. Yeah. I can't live without it.
Cool, so we got the guitar alongside the drums and the offbeat skank. Put it there nice. Very careful on the leads. We don't want any horrible noises coming out. So let's take this one out. I'm done with the guitar for now. Everything back here. Let's have a listen through, give it a little bit of treatment, and we move forward. First, guitar plaque. That's going to be the name of the channel. Trying always to label all the channels I'm working as I go, just to keep everything nice and tidy and neat. This way, it's easier to get the shit done, pretty much. So, next thing, I'm gonna go through some bass line. So for the bass line, I use the Korg Micro Korg, which in my opinion is one of the most affordable and the most powerful bass synthesizer that you can find on the market. It has like all sorts of techno, house sound and everything, but it has like a really nice preset on the hip hop program number 1, which is, it's gonna sound like this. This is the sound you get from it. But the amount of things that you can make out of this simple bass sound, it's quite amazing. So let's look for it. So we choose timbre number 2, and we play with the high frequencies of the bass line. So play with the attack and the release. Give it like a nice wobbly sound. That's for the top, and this one for the sub. Sorry, that's the top and the sub. I like to have a bit of a long release for the bass sound. So let's track it. Ready.
Melodies for a better day, music for a better way, to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place, yeah. Melodies for a better way, music for a better day, to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place, yeah. I can't.
So right now we got the bass line, and now let's see how we can make this bass line sound super fat. So what I usually do, I just put an auto filter on the bass, and because it has such a fat bass sound and so full and really high resolution, like it's really easy to get like really fat subby sounding bass just by using the auto filter.
Melodies for a
I'm gonna solo this one. Something like that. So you can hear also the high harmonics of the bass line, and it really helps the sound cut through the mix, especially if you play on a big system on different PA. Like it really helps to just use like analog equipment. Like just give everything, all the mix so much color. Like every element have its own place in the spectrum, and it really saves you a lot of effort when you go through the mix down. So all together now it's gonna sound something like that.
Melodies for a better day, music for a better way, to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place, yeah. Melodies for a better way, music for a better day, to put a big smile stretching across your face.
Nice, so we got this far. Now another technique I would like to show you guys is something I do with the hats to get rid of the robotic loop that many people always try to avoid when they go through the mix. When you do the arrangement, like you don't want to have the same looping computer sound going on. Like it's kind of like it can sometimes take a bit of the attention. So what I usually do, I create another MIDI track, and I add a couple of couple of hi-hats into it. There's a really nice sample pack that I use for many years. Let me just find it. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So basically what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna layer these sampled hi-hats on the loop that I already have, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen after. So we got this one going like this. I'm gonna make the loop a bit longer. And for this drum rack, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add an open hi-hat. Let's find another open hi-hat here somewhere. That's gonna make it, that's gonna do. Let's see. So, right about now, we got the hats, drums, a kick snare, offbeat skank from the piano, we got the guitar, we got the bass line, sounds something like that.
Melodies for a better day, music for a better way, to put a big smile stretching across your face, better for the people, better time and place, yeah. Melodies for a better way, music for a better day, to put a big smile stretching across.
Awesome. So, for the sake of keeping it within a loop, I'm gonna group everything I just played now, everything I just recorded, and we're gonna put it all in order. So like drums, bass, the guitar pluck, and the skank. Another thing that I would like to add on top of it, some kind of a layer that gives it a bit of extra color, is a bit of an organ sound. That this classic piano have a very nice, warm, volatile sound, which I like to use. I'm gonna give it a stereo track. Call it organ, and let's see if we got it. Let's see if we got it. All right, just give it a bit of a play, see if we like it.
Melodies for a better day, music for a better way, to put a big smile stretching across your face, better for the people, better time and place, yeah. Melodies for a better way, music for a better day, to put a big smile.
Cool, so I'm pretty happy with this kind of stab. Let's give it a record.
Melodies for a better day, music for a better way, to put a big smile stretching across your face, better for the people, better time and place, yeah.
So we got the organ on the arrangement, very nice, very important. Everyone, always Command S, always save what you make. You don't wanna lose everything in a single second. So right about now we got the vocals, we got the kick, hat, snares, bass, guitar, skank, and the organ. So we got the basic elements to build to make the structure of the song. So what I usually, the way I like to work, as soon as I have like the basic elements of the track, just to fasten the process of the arrangement and everything, I just select everything I played, everything I recorded. I go to the arrangement, and I just place it all there. all of them. Make sure they're all same length.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh.
Make sure it's all the same length. Yeah, we got this, and we got this, and you can make this one a bit shorter just for the sake of having it all on the same way. Very nice. And then what I do, I just select it all and I duplicate it all so it will fill up around 4 minutes, plus or minus, a bit less than 4 minutes. This way, you can run the track,
Oh, oh, oh.
and we got the tune pretty much playing. We're just gonna let it play for a bit. See what's happening.
Yeah man, you're in tune to Tom Spirals alongside the 420 sound, bringing the soundtrack to your nice time. How we do? A positivity and love coming through. So tell them, yo, cha, we sing melodies for a better day, music for a better way, to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place, yeah. Melodies for a better way, music for a
Very nice.
better day, to put a big smile.
So basically, what the advantage of doing this thing for me, at least, is that I tend to listen over and over again, and to what I record, and this way I can just listen over and over again. Every time I listen, I just take one beat in, take one beat down, kind of strip the instrumental a bit, and it makes it a lot easier when you want to get the song, the arrangement when you want to get it done. So I'm just gonna ungroup this one, and I'm gonna group them separately. So we got the drums, that's the drum group, and we got the bass, which is separate, organ, skank, everything all good. Alright, so right about now, I just want to add one more thing, just one more some little hook. I'm just going to add a little clav sound to what we already have, to give it a little bit more, some melody. Let's see how it sounds. Something like that. Let's give it a crack.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah man, you're in tune to Tom Spirals alongside the 420 sound, bringing the soundtrack to your nice time. How we do? A positivity and love coming through. So tell them, yo, cha, we sing melodies for a better day, music for a better way, to put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place, yeah.
Cool. So you got this, you got the clav. Let's select the loop you want to use. I guess the last one was the best.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh.
Put the volume up. Make it sound a bit louder. Came out a bit quiet, but everything can work.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh.
Cool. So I'm just gonna add the clav again to the session. Just put it all along the sequencer. Why not come in here? Yeah, here we go. We got a clav. Oh. Okay. Put it all along the track, and we'll get back into it later. So what about now? What we got? We got 4 minutes of a musical piece, not well arranged yet. There's still a lot of work to do to strip it out and make it sound nice. Just to give a bit more vibe to the instrument, I'm just gonna send a bit of reverb and a bit of delay for the guitars, a bit of reverb for the skank, a bit of reverb for the club. This is just the basic built-in return track that we have on Ableton at the moment, so that's what it's gonna sound. As I'm playing, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna give a bit of a basic equalization to the elements. I think something got a bit out of hand here, which is probably the bass line. Yeah, put this one here.
Melodies.
Yeah, that's what we want. So what I usually do, I just like take down the low frequencies from whatever doesn't need the low frequency, which is the skank. The organ needs a bit of low frequency, so I'm compromising a bit of just like above 80 hertz, something like that. And the clav, we can take out the low frequencies there too. We use this program.
Yeah man, you're in tune to Tom Spirals alongside the 420 sound. Bringing the soundtrack to your nice time. How we do? A positivity and love.
So I'm gonna slowly strip the rhythm.
Yo, we sing melodies for a better day.
See, as I go, I just take element down, take element up.
Put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place. Yeah, melodies for a better way.
Might leave the skank there.
Music for a better day. To put a big smile stretching across your face. Better for the people, better time and place. Yeah, I can't live without it. Said there's no doubt about it. Music, what will I'm saying it now when I shout it. Turn up the amplifier, let the people gather round it. We sticking with the rhythm, now the rhythm we have found it. We telling the people now the good vibe got you surrounded. So stick around, enjoy the moment, get yourself grounded. Watch it as the place it gets so ram up and crowded. Smell the high grade blazing, now the air it gets clouded. Enough memory created, cause the vibe is highly rated. Music keep you well fixated in a meditation.
Cool, so we showed you like the start of how I strip the rhythm slowly, trying to give some space between each section. So what we're gonna go now is to add a little bit of percussion. But the percussion, what we're gonna do, we're gonna just play it live. So I'm gonna make a drum rack and choose a few percussive sounds. So let's look at Splice. Splice always got the good. So that's a loop. Let's do it like this. Timbale. Timbale always good with reggae. Always good. So we got this one. We got this one. And something like that. You can play it with just with the computer keyboard.
Memory created, cause the vibe is highly rated. Music keep you well fixated in a meditation. Help you feel elated, universally
Give some reverb, some delay.
legally.
Bring the dub.
Memory created, cause the vibe is highly rated. Music keep you well fixated in a meditation. Help you feel elated, universally translated. It is legally awaited in every nation. I feel is the
Right, you'll see we're gonna get back into it, but so it's pretty good to have it there, just sitting in one of the channels. It will be really easy to just get back into it and just play it live as a MIDI. So what I usually do, if I'm not going on this kind of approach of just putting everything in all the way through like 4 minutes and then stripping. Another really nice and creative way to play it is playing it live. So what we're gonna do now, I'm just gonna map this MIDI controller. We're gonna do a bit of live dub from Ableton. So